I bet you're wondering what's in this present. You know, over the next several weeks, people will spend a lot of time and energy buying presents. Relatives are asking for Christmas lists so they can get their shopping done. The commercials on TV are rolling out their latest toy temptations to get children drooling. The shopping malls and discount stores are busy stocking Christmas decorations just in case you feel like adding to your seasonal lawn ornaments and light displays. And with all this Christmas hoopla, it's easier than ever to lose focus on why we celebrate Christmas in the first place. That's why we want to spend this month talking about generosity, making someone's day by giving something away. See, people love to give gifts, especially at this time of year, but when you think about it, people give gifts all the time, no matter what the occasion. Maybe it's because by giving, we're tapping into part of what it means to be created in God's image. You know, there's something about giving that reflects God's character to those around us. But there's a danger in getting so wrapped up in ourselves and what we might get from others that we miss the reason we celebrate in the first place, Jesus. And this month, we hope kids celebrate Jesus and give big to others as they show them how much God has been so generous towards us. And God has been so generous to us through the gift of his Son. So it's only natural that in return, we show that generosity to others. Generosity changes us when we learn how to give the way God gives. And this month, we'll look at principles and stories from the New Testament that can help kids develop a better perspective about how they can get wrapped up in others and show generosity. We'll start the month asking the question, what do you have to give? This is a question God answered when he sent Jesus. In 1 John 4, 9 and 11, we read this. Here is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world. He sent him so we could receive life through him. Since God loved us this much, we should also love one another. We hope kids learn that our generosity is rooted in God's love for us. And because God gave, we can give to others. Kids might wonder, why is it important to give to others in the first place? And that's why in week 2, we head to Luke chapter 12 and take a closer look at a parable Jesus told about a rich man who was wrapped up in all the wrong things. He had a lot of stuff that he kept accumulating over time, and he just kept building bigger and bigger barns to collect his food. He failed to think about the people around him, and he also failed to think about eternity. For kids and families, we hope they realize it's important to not miss our chance to give. Next, we'll take a closer look at our memory verse for this month. 1 Timothy 6:18. Command the rich to do what is good. Tell them to be rich in doing good things. They must give freely. They must be willing to share. In this verse, Paul is redefining what it means to be rich. So in other words, you're not generous because you're rich. You're rich because you're generous. Ultimately, if we're going to raise children who understand what it really means to be rich, we've got to teach them to give. We've got to teach them to share. We've got to teach them to put others first. Kids will discover some creative ways to give this Christmas and all throughout the year ahead. For week 4, we'll ask kids the question, what does Christmas mean to you? Christmas is the perfect time of year to talk about generosity. We'll spend some time talking about the greatest gift ever given as we celebrate the story of Jesus' birth. We want kids and families to pause and remember that God gave us Jesus, the ultimate example of generosity, so that we could have a personal relationship with him. We'll finish the month discovering how we can be more generous. In the beginning of Matthew's gospel, we'll see generosity in action through wise men who went above and beyond to honor Jesus and give him their precious gifts. We hope kids will see that we should give like we're giving to God. We hope these stories will help you unpack this principle of generosity for a child so they will grow up and understand what it means to show God's character to the world. We just think that if children understand how to give, it will not only change the world around them, well, it'll change them as well. So what's in this present? Well, that all depends. What goes in here is really up to you this Christmas. It depends on how you decide to give big. It's our prayer that what happens in your church and in your family this season will send a different kind of message to people in your community and people around the world about who God is, about how generous He is, and how important it is for all of us to let His generosity show up in how we are generous to others.